Welcome back to the Blue Chip Breakdown, Vols fans. It's day 6 of fall camp, and we are officially in full pads now. You see them out there with those knee pads. So just a couple of quick notes. We had a few players that were limited today. Starting on offense, Squirrel White, Ethan Davis, Nathan Leacock were all limited. They did drills indoors today. Cooper Mays was also out again today. And on defense, we had Jordan Thomas, Wesley Walker, and T-Mac were all limited, so they did drills inside. Nothing to be concerned about there. We're just making sure that our guys are ready to go at the start of the season. So by kickoff, knock on wood, our hope is to be fully healthy and be at full go. We're going to be particularly careful with Cooper Mays because we're having some problems at the backup center position. It sounds like we're having some problems getting the snaps right, and I'm not sure what else the coaches are seeing, but definitely trusting them. So, with that being said, let's get into what we're seeing out here on the field right now. Got the linebackers doing some rush drills, going after that quarterback, getting that football, scooping it up. And right here, we've got big Aaron Beasley. And, we're just kind of going through some run fits here and beautiful form tackling. I love the way that they bring their hips. Everybody looks good here. Arion Carter looks really smooth, really explosive as well. And obviously big Keenan Pili. I think he's going to be a huge addition to this team this season. One of the things that I'm kind of wondering to myself is, can we move from that nickel base to a 4-3 base? And I think that we could if Arion Carter figures out exactly what we're doing from a scheme perspective, then we could bring him in as a third linebacker and kind of take that star out. That star is there for pass coverage purposes. It's a guy who can, he can play the run, but he can also play in coverage. And Keenan Pili and Arion Carter are two guys that are really good at that. Aaron Beasley isn't the best, but he's not terrible. So I think that we could potentially maybe at some point in this season see us be able to go to a 4-3 base. And I think that would really, just increase our defensive production if we can do that. We can do a lot of different things that way. But, obviously playing with that nickel, that can also be huge too. It just all depends on if we can find the correct nickel. We've been not nickel, but star. It's pretty much the exact same position, but we've been looking for when we move guys around. We're going to see Jack Luttrell actually. I think that in a drill coming up here, we're going to see him working some at star. But mostly, we're seeing a whole lot on the defense. Guys are working on getting off blocks and making tackles. Something of note is that Coach Martinez pulled Jordan Matthews and Ricky Gibson off to the side to help them with their tackling. So they didn't do great today. We heard from the defensive line, and we also heard from Coach G in the press conferences today. And Coach G was frustrated. Just some of the notes that I kind of read and some of the things that I heard was that the defensive front wasn't bringing the energy that he wanted. So you could hear his frustration in that press conference. And just here, we've got a lot more of the getting off blocks and making tackles. Tank looks really good doing this. I'm not sure why they haven't tried to move him to star. He's a bigger body. I think he's got to be about 215. He looks like he's 215, maybe even 220. I think that would suit him really, really well. But for whatever reason, they're leaving him at safety. And, we'll see what the starting duo is going to end up being. I think that, Turrentine right there, he's a guy that's been working with the starters. I think that what they want to do is they want to try to move T-Mac out of the star position and move him to safety and have it be T-Mac and Wesley Walker. And I think that would be a great safety duo for this team. Like I said, we just got to find that star. Gabe Giulilali, he's been working at star as well. And this is the drill that I was talking about before, where I'm not sure if this is a star drill or if this is a special teams drill. It looks like it's probably more of a special teams drill because I'm not 100% sure what they're doing. If this is like a line of scrimmage, getting your hands on the guy. Looks like it's more of the runners that you would have on a, like on a punt return type of a deal. Maybe they're just working on their line of scrimmage stuff, but it is very similar to what cornerbacks and safeties sometimes will do in press coverage. Again, we're back to the tackling drills. For the defensive backs, this wrap and roll is really, really critical. You have to be good at this. We look a lot better at this today than we have in the past previous days. I see a lot more violence to these rolls, except for looks like Haddon right there. He didn't show a lot of violence in that roll, but with those guys being smaller, they have to be able to get to people's legs and be able to roll to get them to the ground a lot of times. And right here, the offensive line is working on picking up stunts. And I think that this was run blocking. So they look pretty good here. Obviously, this is a walkthrough. And I really like the violence that I'm seeing out of John Campbell. I mean, he just looks like he is ready to play. So I was a little bit concerned about him, to be completely honest with y'all, earlier, like back in the spring, but he just looks really good. It looks like he could be our best option at tackle. And we've got Shamarov Umarov and Aiden Bustle. That's two true freshmen. Those guys will get a lot of reps together before they are done here at Tennessee, and expecting to see some big things out of them coming up here shortly. Not quite sure how much they'll get to play this season, but, just because I feel like we're so deep on that offensive line, but, we'll see as camp continues to wear on. And here we've got the running backs just working on getting handoffs and getting through the hole. Just basic fundamental stuff. That's all that we get access to here. And I don't think that we'll get much access from a film perspective on the scrimmage that's coming up on Thursday. Some of y'all were asking about that. Haven't heard much from really anybody on any coverage of it. I think that the media will be able to watch it, but I don't think that they will be able to film it. So looking forward to that and seeing how everyone looks in some live action reps. Here we've got the running backs, just catching the ball on a little dump pass out of the backfield and getting up the field, running through traffic. Boy, at the end of that right there, Cam Seldon just looks explosive. In my personal opinion, I think that he probably has the biggest upside out of all of our running backs. He's just a big body. He's the biggest guy, and he's the fastest guy. He's 6'2", 220 pounds, and runs a 4.2. And the quarterbacks today, we did this right here. So swing routes out to the running backs. Only had one drop ball. That was from Nico to Jalen Wright. The pass was low. And outside of this, the quarterbacks worked on scramble drill, which I think is going to be a really big portion of how good Joe Milton is going to be for us this season. One of the things that I've been concerned about is how much of a playmaker is Joe going to be. Typically, he's been a lot more of a statue. He stays in that pocket, and he's got the arm talent and the arm strength to be able to make every single throw. But I feel like in some of these closer games, we're going to need him to do what Hendon did for us last season, which is extend plays and make some things happen with his legs. And that's an area where I think that once Nico gets his opportunity next season, we will have a much higher ceiling from an offensive production perspective, because he's great at throwing the ball on the run. But that's it for this video, guys. Remember to like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and we'll see y'all tomorrow. Thanks. Peace.